Historically, women have played baseball since the beginning of the sport's induction into American life, and the female leagues have played strong and steady throughout the decades alongside the male teams. But somehow, the effort to bring the game across the set gender lines has been lost in the famous history of baseball, the all-American sport. Women are not the only ones who are pushed out of playing the game. It has long been a sport dominated by white males. In recent history, black males were not allowed to play in the sport, and were forced to find alternative outlets for their drive to play, reinforcing the segregated nature of baseball in the core of its history. The spectator sport of watching baseball is also heavily segregated, and even still it's something that is prominently looked at to be a man's hobby, or something the boys do. According to NPR's website, in 2004, the U.S. women's baseball team took the silver medal in the Women's World Series, which was played in Japan. They also won gold in the World Cup in Canada the same year, but got little to no attention from the mass media. Women are often regarded as weaker, less competent players than their male counterparts, and even though there is empirical evidence that men and women are more or less equal in their sporting abilities after allowing for body size and composition, according to the National Strength and Conditioning Association, and although women have played baseball throughout history, softball, a form of the sport, is looked at to be a substitute for hardball. Currently, there is still a large separation between genders in terms of baseball and baseball viewership because cultural norms uphold the sexism ingrained within the sport from the beginning. My own personal theories on why women do not participate as heavily in watching America's favorite pastime come from my personal observation. From my viewing at home, I noticed that the announcers and broadcasters are male voices throughout the entire game. The only occasion a female is seen or heard during a sporting event on television is after the end of the game, when a perfectly manicured, petite woman walks out on camera to interview the ball players. These are small but obvious gender-biased issues that take place in the viewing of the game. Also, the commercials during baseball games are geared towards male audiences. Budweiser and Miller were within the top 10 advertising companies for sports television, according to Forbes magazine. According to longtime baseball coach Eric McDonald Johnson, there are two ultimate reasons as to why women have been historically excluded from America's favorite pastime. First, the dugout, the game, and the stadium are thought to be a very dirty place. Chewing tobacco, urinating in troughs, drinking beer, and cleanliness of the venue in general play into the factor that it is not a feminine place to be. Also, even with the establishment of the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League, they were thought of as a marketing ploy, used to make money for the nation while the men were out away during war times, much like Rosie the Riveter, but of baseball. Neither of these created an atmosphere for women to partake in the act of playing or participating in baseball games over the decades. But according to Johnson, times are changing, and the differences between when he was a kid in the stands to what he sees in the stadiums in the Bay Area more recently is huge. Culturally, baseball has been viewed as a male-only sport. This can be seen in evidence when Philip K. Wrigley, the owner of Wrigley Stadium and major candy company, started the AAGPB, an All-American Women Baseball League. He started the league in response to the downturn of men's baseball during the Second World War. This was looked at by stakeholders as something that was unprecedented and unheard of. The league had minor success, which was short-lived upon the return of the soldiers from the war. In relation to the class, the major parallel I found between my leisure hobby and the reading material covered in class was dealing with Title IX, the Education Amendment of 1972. This states that no person in the United States shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any education program or activity receiving federal financial assistance. This was a groundbreaking amendment, giving rights to women on athletic departments so they could face equal opportunity on the sports field in both high school and collegiate levels. However, this amendment does not lend itself to professional sporting events, and women are still pushed out of baseball. The activity challenged me by forcing me to venture out into a realm that is normally dominated by men. I found that I was given no role models to follow or many venues for releasing my own interest in the game. Women have proven themselves in the sport of baseball, but are still ignored as lesser ball players, even though viewership for the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League proved differently. According to the organization's website, viewership in the first 3 years of its existence reached over 1 million individuals. As someone who doesn't normally watch sports, I gained a lot of interesting daily insights. Not only did I learn all about the history of women in the sport of baseball, but I learned about the marketing, the broadcasting, and the gameplay as a whole. I previously had a biased opinion of the game, thinking that it was a game for men and not something women would ever partake in. But I found there is a long, deep, rich history on either side of both the pure sportsmanship of the game and the hidden sexism that lies within every aspect of our country's favorite pastime. Title IX has led to extreme advancements in women's sports, but in my opinion these advancements are nowhere near enough. I will continue to participate in the act of watching baseball. Even if it is minor, I would like to participate in the ongoing history of women taking their share of baseball. Thank you.